China's plan to ease COVID restrictions amid protesters taking to the streets against tighter lockdowns and a decline in Chinese economic activity. Emily, you've been monitoring the situation. What are some of the crypto market implications of the ongoing demonstrations?
Well, the crypto market implications are basically the overall market implications because as we've seen over the past year, Bitcoin has been largely correlating with traditional markets. And when the protests started in China, there were a lot of headlines saying that this kind of volatility would be bad for markets and were leading to price drops. But now we are seeing totally different headlines saying that China is signaling a reopening, and this is actually good for the broader market because China's COVID lockdowns have been very detrimental to markets worldwide, including in China because of supply chain disruptions, which lead to inflation problems. So basically the TLDR here is the real economic problem here are the COVID lockdowns, and let's see if they are actually going to be loosened as China is now suggesting.
And what's the larger significance of these protests, of the role of the technology, the role that internet plays and social media in the whole overall picture?
These protests are really remarkable in the Chinese context because although there are protests in China, it's very rare to see protests of this type, which are basically protests in different cities, all aimed towards a common cause. This is very unusual in China, and it's very, very sensitive in China. But there has been rage brewing in China about the lockdowns for months and months and months. And a lot of that rage was easy to see on social media and the internet. And now we're seeing it spilling into the streets. And, I can't say for sure that authorities are reacting to the protests by signaling a COVID but by signaling a reopening. But I would say that public opinion is playing a certain role in the current events.
So Emily, what's the, we talked about the market impact. What's the political impact in all this?
It's really hard to say, but I think that when you have this much anger from this many people, I guess the simplest way to say this is that a lot of people focus on in China about what's said on the internet or what, okay, freedom of speech, this was censored, this was not censored. But the most sensitive thing in China is collective action. The thing that the government is the most concerned about are people gathering en masse for a common cause. And we did see that with these recent protests. So I think it's something that would be very difficult for the government to ignore.